Hello and welcome back to Rule the Game. In this video I'm going to show you how to play Champions of Wind and Fire by Oleg Meleshin. This is a game for 1 to 4 players, lasts about 45 to 60 minutes, and it's recommended starting at an age of 14. Now this game has a base version, an advanced version, also a solo mode, but I will stick just to the base version so that you can actually learn how to play this game, and then once you've played it a couple times you can move on to the advanced version, but that one you would have to look up in the instruction manuals. Same with the solo method. The solo mode is something that I won't discuss in this video. As usual, we'll start with how to win this game, then I'll show you how to play the game, and then I'll give you some hints for your first game, and I'll finish with the game setup section. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. But now let's get started with Champions of Wind and Fire.
Rule the game.
Now this game has two phases. There is the tournament phase where the different dragons, everybody has a dragon, where everybody's dragon fights against each other, and we'll check how well they do, and then you get victory points for how well they do in these different tournaments. Before that, there's a preparation phase where you make your dragon as strong as you possibly can. In the tournament phase, we're going to play 5 tournaments, 5 matches against each other, and we'll start those though by first checking the strength of our dragon. Now as you can see on this table, I have here the common board where everybody gets tiles and has things to do, and here this is my personal, or my 2 personal boards. There's the board with the dragon, and then there's the board here with the crystals and the different tiles that I win during the game beforehand. For the tournaments, only the dragon and this board here count. Now each dragon consists of 3 parts. There's the head, the wings and the tail. Each of these parts has a strength number up in the corner. You will start with 1s for each part, but then you get to upgrade them during the game. Whenever you have a black crystal on a part, that will decrease the strength by 1. If you can put crowns on parts, that will increase the strength by 1. So in this case, we'll have here for the head, 3 minus 1 is a 2. As you can see here, I put this die out on the head, the red die, because I'm the red player, this die with the number 2. For the wings, I didn't do anything, so I still have the strength 1. And for the body, the tail, I have strength 5, minus 1 plus 2, so in total a 6, which I show here with the third die. Again, heads, wings, and tails. The other players do the same thing, and so we already see how strong these different dragons are. Next, we're going to count who has the weakest dragon, and that's the person who will start the tournament. The weakest dragon is just the sum of the different dice. In this case, the red is actually the lowest. You can check it, but it only has 9, the others are all higher. So the one who has the lowest will get here the starter dragon for the tournament. The person who has this marker will then pick one of the 3 public tournaments here, and that will be a tournament that will be played last. In this case, I will actually select this one because my tail is the strongest, so I'll take this one. It will be played last. Each player also has their personal 3 tournaments down here, and they can always look at them, see what they are, and we're going to be playing one of them as well. Now for a 2 and a 4 player game, you would now start with your personal tournaments. For a 3 player game, you actually take first another one of the public tournaments. So let's say we're taking here this public tournament, the red one, which is a head and a flame, which means what we're going to do to check the strength, or who is the winner of this tournament, we're going to check the strength of our heads and combine it with the strength of the flame that we have on this board here. So we check over here the number of tiles we have in the color that's indicated here. That's red, so I have 2 red ones. And I have a crystal in the same color. That counts also to the strength. So I actually have a strength of 3 over here. And I'll add that up to the 2 that I have over here. As you can see, 2 plus 3 is 5. So I actually have less strength now than this one started with. So I will definitely not win this tournament. But whoever wins the tournament, who has the highest sum of heads plus flames, will then get here one of those trophies with the 4 on it. Should both other players have the same strength at the end of the tournament, each of them gets 4 victory points. And whoever has the second highest number in strength, in total strength, will get 2 victory points. And even if we already had 2 players that have the highest number and I would actually be third, I can still take one of these because I have the second highest strength. And of course, if there are other players that have my value here too, my total strength, they will also get it too. So again, that was only for the 3-player game where I first selected a public tournament. In a 2 and a 4-player game, I would have started here with a personal tournament, something that only I know, but the others don't know what I have here. And I would have selected one of them, and I would have said, okay, let's play this one first, which is tails plus yellow. I have only 1 yellow, and I have 6 here on the tails, so I get a total of 7. I might actually win this, who knows. I didn't actually play out the other players, so we'll say I did win and this player here is second. And then we go clockwise and everybody gets to pull one of their personal tournaments until it comes back to me as the starting player of the tournaments. And then we're going to play this very first public tournament that I have pulled out. We hand out victory points for that tournament also to the different players. And then everybody sums up the numbers that they have on these tokens here. And whoever has most wins the game. If there's a tie in the number of victory points you win from trophies, then the person who has the most upgraded tiles in their dragon will win. And if there's still a tie with this, then it's the person who has the highest total dragon strength at the beginning of the tournament, which is here the 3 dice summed up. And if that's still a tie, then the players share the win. So this is the tournament part. Now let's have a look how we upgrade our dragon and how we get to that crystals and the tiles so that we can actually have a strong tournament. Now the first phase of the game is all about upgrading your dragon and getting tiles and crystals. Now this part is played in rounds. There is an active player who has this tile here, who will then first roll these dice. The active player will then decide how they want to distribute these dice here on these 4 different pads that we have. And as you can see here, this is for 3 players. There's also the version for 4 players or a version for 2 players. But I'm going to continue to pretend like I'm playing a 3-player game here. So we can always play in a 3 and a 4-player game. We will always put 1 to 2 dice here on these different areas. In a 2-player game, you would put 2 to 3 dice. Once the active player has placed the dice, then the person in counterclockwise order to the left of the active player will start the round. What they will do is that they will take here 1 or 2 dice from the shields that we have here. So it's either you take these 2 or you take this one or here these 2, but you always have to take whatever is on here. You can never leave a die here and you always have to fully fulfill this die. Let's say we take these 2. I now have the option to play the dice either on the dragon board or on my board with the different tiles here and the crystals. Dice are always done one after another, and when you're done with all the actions that you have on that one dice, you go to the second dice. So in this case, let's say I put this one here. What I can do then is I take 2 of the blue tiles and I put the 2 blue tiles down here. As you can see, I now have a full row, and whenever you have a full row, you can actually take the crown that is here next to it. And you go and save the crown here on this field. I could technically also place this one on this board. Then I get a white one that I put up here. So in this case, then I get another crown that I can place here. But as you can see, I also get a black crystal. And that black crystal will then go here on this field. Actually, you see here the symbol for a black crystal. And should I end up with 2 black crystals or more, then I will have to take these 2 black crystals and I'll have to place them here somewhere on my dragon. They can be on the same field or they can be on different parts of the dragon's body, but you can never go under 0 points. So in this case, if I put both of them here on one side, then we would actually have -1 point. You can't do this unless the rest of your dragon is also at 0. So in this case, I'll actually have to distribute it here on the different tiles. Same, by the way, if I have 2 crowns here, I'll also have to distribute them And here it doesn't matter. Here you can actually put them also on the same tile if you want to. Should I end up with this die here also on this board when it's already full and I can't actually play another two of these magic tiles here on this board anymore, I will have to take as many black crystals as I have symbols here and put them on the board, and of course then I would have to go and distribute them again. In this case I would actually have to put them both here because the others are 0 again already, so I can't actually make it -1 yet because this was positive, so I would have to place them here. So this is what happens on this board if you come with these dice. If you want to use the dice on the other board, let's say we had done this one already here. Let's say I wanted to place this die here on this board rather than this board. Then what I do here is, you see there's a white symbol on it. So I can remove one of the white crystals. When I do that, I just take this white crystal, for example, and I place it here on one of the slots that I have on the main board. You will see that I have just as many slots here as I have crystals on this board. Next, when we have taken away here this white crystal, we will then check if any of the surrounding areas that are here surrounding my white one are also without a crystal, which is the case actually here with the red one. And if that's the case, then we'll get whatever is on the border between the two of them. So in this case, you see here, it's a crown. We will take a crown, we'll place it here, and we'll mark the crown here with this little tile to make sure that we don't take this bonus again later. So not only do you get here extra strength for the tournament later by actually taking a crystal and move it over here, but you also get these different bonuses that are in between. As before, because there's a black crystal here, we would still have to take a black crystal and place it here. Now here, if you end up with 2 crystals on this one, it is slightly different from if you end up with 2 over here. You'll still have to distribute them, and it's now getting very crowded here because I did terribly with what I showed you. But I placed the 2 crystals, but then I also get a card. And that's these cards up here. You'll get these cards. You can either play these cards right away, or you can keep them for later. This is an optional move that you have in each turn when each round, when it's your turn. You can play these cards, and you can play several of these cards. The instruction manual actually suggests that you use them right away, but you can also keep them. That is up to you. And then you have on this card, you have a certain action that you can do. It's a bonus usually that you get, and it's explained on the card quite nicely. If you don't understand it, there's some clarification in the instruction manuals. This is the main action that you have to do in each round, is that you need to take dice or a die and then place it here on the board. And as I said before, even if you can't really put it anywhere anymore because it just doesn't work, then you'll just have to take black crystals, but you always have to resolve whatever is on the 2 dice. And then once per turn, you also have the opportunity to upgrade. To upgrade, you will have to check here your upgrade tiles. And you can see on the left hand side, this is the more basic upgrade. This is the advanced upgrade. How do they differ? You see that these different patterns are slightly different. And these patterns is what you need on this board to pay for these upgrade tiles. So for example, if I wanted to upgrade to this tile, I would have to have 4 of my magic tiles here in a row. I have different rows here, actually of 4. I could use all of them. But for me, even better, I even have 5. And you see here, I need 5 in a row. So what I can do is I first turn around here these 5 that I need to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll then take out here my initial piece of the dragon that I have. I put it away. I put the new one here. But unfortunately, you keep whatever was on the tile before. So in this case, it gives me some more points, but it's still not the best tile that I have. Each dragon tile can only be replaced once, and you can only replace 1 tile per turn. And the last action that you could do on your turn, but you can only do it once per game, is this action here. This is the trainer task that you have. Should you ever get to the point where you have on this board here a purple, blue, and red crystal, I don't have that yet, but let's say I had moved the blue one over here. Once I have fulfilled this condition here, I get 2 crowns for free. I'll take those 2 crowns, place them here. You see I have more than 2, so I would actually go and place them somewhere in another tile. And then I discard of this card here. Once I did all my actions, the turn then moves to the next person in clockwise order, who will also take 1 or 2 dice, will do the same actions that you did but on their board, and so on until it comes back to the active player, who will only have the choice between 2 different areas where they still have different dice on them. They also do the action, and then they hand over the active player tile to the next person in clockwise order. The preparation phase ends when the first player was able to upgrade their full dragon, so replace all the 3 dragon tiles that they had. We then finish that round, so all the dice that are still on the board will be distributed, with the exception of the last 1 or 2, of course, because there are always more dice than we have people. And then we get into the final preparation phase before the tournament. For the final preparation phase, the person who already had the active player tile will keep this tile, and it will start again on the left hand side, so in clockwise order from that active player. That person will start first, and what they can do now in this last round is that they can still upgrade their dragon. The way they do this is just like before. If I wanted to still upgrade something here, I would have to have here the right structure or the right pattern in this board, on this board, so that I could actually do the upgrade. So let's assume I had this board as we go here in the final preparation, and as you can see here, I have the pattern for this one here, for this head. So I'll do this, I'll flip it all over, and I will then take this head here and replace the head that I already have. Again, the crystal that was there will stay there. Now, because this is a final preparation phase, I will actually have to also pay the person who has their full dragon already upgraded. They will get from me 1 of those crowns, and I'll hand that over to them. In addition, I need to distribute all of my black crystals and all of my crowns that I still have here on my reservoirs. In this case, I have none, but if I had here another crown, then I would also place it somewhere to gain points or lose points. People who already have a fully upgraded dragon will of course be skipped in this final preparation for the tournament. And in each turn that you get in this final preparation, you only get to upgrade once. Having said that, you can upgrade a second time once the turn comes back to you. So if you have the option to upgrade twice, you can do this, but you can't do it right away. When it's your turn, you have to wait until all the others have had the chance to upgrade too, and then you can upgrade your second tile. And after this, we do what we said before. We look at the strength of our dragon here, and we'll check here on the dice. How strong is my head? How strong are the wings? How strong is the tail? And we'll place the dice here in the right strength. Obviously, I'm nowhere near 19 or 20, but this is the idea behind it. And this is the point where we go back into the tournament phase, and that's where we decide who will actually win the game. And here are some hints for the first game. This is not my kind of game, so I don't really have a winning strategy. I haven't won this a single time, but here are a few things that I think are important for you to know. One is that the upgrade tiles that you have here on the main board, that the highest number that you can get is the one on top. So the earlier you can do the upgrades, the higher the strength is that you're going to get. Of course, if you get an advanced tile, it's better to get than a basic tile. Having said that, to get the advanced tiles, you need to have more magic tiles on this board here. And that's also tricky to get. So it's unlikely that you're actually going to get a fully advanced body. You're going to have some parts that are just basic parts, like over here, and some that are here advanced mode. Now I think Obviously, having black crystal is a bad thing. So you're going to try to avoid that. Having said that, there are many, many dice that have this black crystal and you don't really get around to taking some of them. Or you decide that you're just taking a single die, because usually the person, the active player who distributes the dice, will make sure that when there are two dice somewhere, that one of them will have a black crystal. It is not the case that if you come into the tournament as the weakest player, that you necessarily lose this game. Because you're the active player then at the tournament, that you can choose the public tournament, you may actually be able to turn this all around and win it. Because it could just be that you have a very high number of, in your strength of tails, or a very high number of a certain color of tiles, and you can use that color of tiles twice. So for this, make sure early on in the game that you prepared for at least one, if not two, of the public tournaments. And you definitely need to be prepared for the one of your personal tournaments that you have in front of you. You're going to need to ace that one tournament. This is Champions of Wind and Fire. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel. Up next, how to set up the game. To set up the game, place the main board between all the players. Depending on the number of players, you will add this. For 2 players and 3 players. For 4 players, you use the full board here. Next, you can shuffle here the different action cards and then place it on that field here. Then sort the upgrade tiles here by numbers. Here there's a 1, as you can see. The advanced version here has a 2. So this one is the 2 dragon. This is the 1 dragon. As you can see, these are the heads. Sort them here by heads and by advanced or basic. And then you put them so that you have always 1 less dragon in this pile here. Then you have players, and always the numbers from bottom top to top is ascending, so the highest number is up on top, as you can see here with the 4, 3, and here the 5 and the 4. Same here. You actually see also on the back, for 2 to 4 players, this is what you use, and this is for 3 to 4 players, and then for 4 players, there's another tile that I don't have here because I prepared for the 3-player game. Up next, you prepare the player boards. On this board over here, you'll just put a crown here on all of these different fields on the side. On this one here, you'll put a jewel or a crystal here on the right spots. You'll always see what the color is of these different crystals that you need. And then you put your starting dragon in here, and you see the starting dragon has an S on it. Then each player also gets these 3 dice according to the color that they have in this field here. You'll put out the trophies, then these tiles here to cover these symbols here. You'll put out the black crystals, the crowns, and of course the different tiles. You can also sort them if you feel like you have enough time. Then you hand one player here the active player token. That's the person who's going to get started. Each player then gets a personal trainer card here. This is the basic version. On the back you also have a more advanced version. You decide beforehand which version you're going to play, but every player then is on the same side. And then you take the tournament cards, you sort them by here, head, wings, or tail, shuffle them, place one here as a public tournament, hand each player one as their personal tournament, and you do the same for the wings and the tail. Of course, everybody can always look at their personal tournaments. You'll take out the black dice out of the box, and then the person with here the active player thing will actually get started, rolls the dice, and distributes them over here on the different fields. And that's it. You're ready to get started.